Welcome back to Bleav in Softball, presented by FanDuel. I'm your host, Jenna, and it's actually birthday week for me. August 9th is the big day, and honestly, it seems like this last year just absolutely flew by, but I'm feeling pretty grateful. And being with you, my fellow Bleavers, is always a fun way to celebrate. So however you got here today, whether you downloaded the audio version on Apple, Spotify, etc., or you're watching the video on YouTube, thank you and welcome. Subscribe and rate the show wherever you get your pods. You'll see we have a new updated show logo across all of our digital platforms. New look, but the same good vibes. The iconic purple that we've had since day one. It's also got me in action broadcasting, and you might even notice a throwback photo of me during the glory days as well. So let us know what you think. Follow us on Instagram and X at Bleav in Softball. That's BLEAV. And of course, there's still merch. Click the link in our bio on either page or go to shop.bleav.com to purchase 3 different shirts available, covering our bases, safer out, and catch you soon. Let's go through today's batting order. First, we will be covering our bases. I'm going to share some callouts. Then we'll head into today's interview with Kayla Wedl. She's a well-respected player and person in the pro scene, and a Midwest kid who went to a mid-major and turned pro. And she just finished her final season as she enters retirement, and just such an awesome perspective that she has on everything. So excited for that. Then we'll bring it home and wrap up with some final thoughts. All right, let's go. Covering our bases. Last week, we announced Bleav's new partnership with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, and we're just getting started. We've been in softball mode on this show since the college season started in February, and it's hard to believe the NFL is now already back. Football's going to be on our screens until February when Super Bowl Sunday is back, and FanDuel will be with us the whole time. They have everything from player receiving yard props to rushing props, plus those same game parlays that let you get creative. FanDuel's SGP menu is deep and impressive, so you can really build some fun combinations around player performances and game outcomes. Of course, the 2026 softball season will start right back up again after the Super Bowl too, so we have a lot to look forward to, because we Bleav in softball and we Bleav in FanDuel. We also Bleav in pro softball here. And while the regular season is over in the U.S. for both the AUSL and the independent teams, we're already looking towards what's going to happen next year. So for the AUSL, they're expanding and adding 2 more teams, so they'll go from 4 to 6. The teams are going to be tied to specific cities now moving forward too, to further build their fan bases. Some cities made a great case for themselves with all the sellouts that we saw in this first year, so I'm very excited to see that. And is there a chance that some of the independent teams and or players could fold into the AUSL? I personally hope so. I think the more combined the effort is, the better, especially with the partnerships that AUSL has. So the OKC Spark maybe, the Atlanta Smoke, probably the 2 best cases based on performance and engagement, but we will see. The AUSL is not completely done though. As we've talked about, the All-Star Cup is underway. The pro games at the Little League Softball World Series in North Carolina have been fun to watch, and it's just bringing young girls and pros together. Cool moments abound, really, in what we've seen so far, but Hannah Flippin, as a Little League alum, this stood out to me. She got to throw out a first pitch, and she gets to partner and play in the pro games with them with AUSL. That's such a cool full circle moment. And then one of the Little League players from Czech Republic, her name's Katarina, she actually wrote down that her dream job is to play AUSL. So really cool to see the impact after just 1 season, and not just here in the US, but around the world, that this league is having. And so many stories already during the All-Star Cup. We've barely finished Series 1, but a few things that stood out. The Romero sisters playing against each other, of course, in the regular season. Then they got to play with each other again in the middle infield in the All-Star Cup, and that's one of the fun parts about this All-Star Cup in addition to that regular season. We're seeing Kendra Falby with her pro debut. Many people easily made a case for her to get her own golden ticket, but she got here anyway, which is cool to see. And then seeing how these rosters can mix and match is fun. It's like the all-star break for the MLB. It complements the regular season as it was always meant to versus being the main event. So the Series 2 team captains are official. Kayla Wedl from the Blaze, Sarah Willis from the Bandits, and Kendra Falby, obviously a rookie as mentioned. They represent gold, orange, and blue respectively. The Series 2 draft is going to be on Tuesday, August 12th. Rosters will be selected then. Important to note that there is a break this weekend in play, and then they'll be back playing in Rosemont August 19th through the 21st. There are only the 3 teams. You notice I just said 3 captains instead of 4 because 12 players from the AUSL All-Star Cup are also competing internationally. So this break and some of the adjustments they're making to the schedule, it's similar to the international break we saw in the regular AUSL season. But where exactly will these players be competing in the meantime? On the international side, it's about the World Games right now. So just to give you some background on what they are, it's an international event that highlights sports that aren't consistently part of the Olympics, but it occurs every 4 years like the Olympics do. So this year, 34 sports, 60 disciplines, 256 medal events have been chosen for 2025. This is the 12th edition of the World Games. It's in Chengdu, China. It starts August 7th, goes through the 17th. Of course, softball starts on the 13th. There are over 4,000 athletes in total, a record 115 countries represented, and 7 nations who are making their debut at the World Games this year. The last World Games, you might remember, we talked about it a little bit here. They were in Birmingham, Alabama back in 2022. So it was postponed from 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic after the Olympics were postponed. Typically, the World Games are just the year after the Olympics every time. And I mentioned the basics for women's softball specifically. The men are also competing, by the way. But for women, it's August 13th through 17th, of course. 12 Team USA returners will be there from the 2024 World Cup team. Again, the countries USA, Japan, Puerto Rico, Chinese Taipei, Netherlands, Canada, Australia, and of course that's in addition to the host country, China. Some of the players, as mentioned, competing in the AUSL All-Star Cup, they will miss a couple games. And if you've been watching, Amanda Lorenz actually mentioned this when she was mic'd up during a game earlier this All-Star Cup season. By the way, the results in Birmingham back in 2022, the USA took gold, Japan silver, and the Chinese Taipei took bronze. It's a big deal for USA too, after getting silver in Tokyo just the year before to come back and beat Japan and get that gold. So I'm excited to see all of these teams compete on the road back to being in the Olympics for LA, or you could call it OKC 2028. On the travel ball side, want to give a shout out to some of the youth as well. So national champions have been crowned. I'll just focus on the 18 and under group because there are so many and so many young girls who are competing, which is awesome. But for the Alliance Fast Pitch Championship Series in Indiana, first of all, there are tiers based on performance in regionals. There's Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. For Tier 1, Aces Fast Pitch took it home. Texas Bombers Gold were the runner-ups as well. But Tier 2, the Midwest Speed National Holt. Tier 3, Athletics Gold, Tambora Freeman. And you can see more about the Alliance in general on thealliancefastpitch.com. But wanted to give those folks a shout out. Of course, for PGF in Orange County, California, there are also different divisions. These are based on level. So there's Premier, which is the top, and then there's Platinum as well. The Premier champions are the Arizona Rising Appel, and Platinum champions Unity Johnson Meadows. More info on premiergirlsfastpitch.com. This is really the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the travel ball scene, but I just want to say congrats to all the national champions as well across age divisions. Because like I said, the growth I think is what sticks out to me the most. Some of the same organizations exist from when I played, but they're bigger now. There might be multiple teams per age group. Jenny Finch was visiting the PGF Nationals in her native Southern California, which was cool to see. The Alliance being formatted after what a college season looks like with regionals, supers, etc. I just think all of it means more opportunities for girls to play, and that's what it's all about. So someone who's been that little girl and the pro they look up to is today's guest. Let's head into the interview. She's a newly retired pro player, 2-time Horizon League Player of the Year, 3-time conference champion, and one of the most decorated players in the University of Illinois Chicago history, Kayla Wedl. Kayla, I'm so excited for us to chat. This is going to be awesome.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
This is a pretty big summer for you, pretty big last 5 years or so for you as well. But just how are you doing through all of it right now?
I can't believe it's already been 5 years. It flew by like in a blink of an eye. I remember being in my rookie season, but I'm really happy with how everything rolled out and what I was able to accomplish the past 5 pro years and then 20 overall. So I'm really happy right now.
20 years of playing this sport. Have you had a chance to even reflect on that at this point?
Yes and no. I feel like it really hasn't clicked as much as I think it will maybe once next season would start and when I would typically leave. But I have reflected a lot with like family and stuff as they came and visited and surprised me throughout the summer.
That's great. That's so nice. And I know, of course, that you finished your career professionally with the New York Rise, but you also played in Athletes Unlimited, played in the WPF. You've had a lot of different experiences in different pro spaces. How would you kind of characterize the journey? What was different for each one? What was kind of the same?
Yeah. Well, with AU, we all know how it works with the drafting. So it was not your typical softball format. And it was super fun to play with like girls that had so much experience that I watched growing up, like Kat Osterman, like being her teammate for 3 or 4 of my 5 weeks there was a dream come true. Like she's someone I've always looked up to. So getting able to play with someone like her was incredible. And then going down to Florida, getting back into the swing of like normal softball, if we're going to call it something, I guess. And just having a lot of fun down there, getting coached by Kelly Crutchman. And then moving up to New York for my last two, where we got to start and build a new program with the New York Rise. So it's been really fun to experience 3 different realms. And it was a lot of fun.
And I just love that you played after college too, right? A lot of people don't, and there are more and more opportunities, which we love to see. But also the fact that you joined Athletes Unlimited through the first ever open tryouts. Is that
Yep.
right?
Yes. Yep. So after I finished my 5th year because of COVID at UIC, my coach asked if I was interested in continuing on, if I was able to. And I was like, of course. And I signed up for the tryout, which was about a month after I finished up, and went there for a 2-day tryout, and then ended up making the team about a week or 2 later. And then it all started there.
What I love about that is that you just knew, hey, I'm going to shoot my shot here, and you went for it. Not
Yeah.
everyone does that, right? People are scared to do that, and you just did it.
Yeah. A big quote throughout my pro career was bet on yourself. And it was just taking the chance of being a mid-major kid, not being recruited by tons of huge schools, and kind of being the underdog. So that was a big approach I had just in softball in my pro career.
One of the mentors that I've had in my life constantly says, bet on yourself. So I can totally relate to that. It's a lot easier said than done. But the fact that you actually lived it out, again, very impressive, and appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And even as a young girl too, you wrote down, I wish I were a pro softball player.
Mm-hmm.
And then you did it.
Yep.
So what was it like to realize a lifelong goal?
Yeah, I actually have it hanging up on the wall right over here. Has a lot of other fun goals on it, like I wish I could drive. I wish I had $1,000. Didn't get to sing with the Jonas Brothers. That's also on there.
You never know. Still time.
But it's just proof that if you set something down, put it in writing, journaling, and anything's achievable. Is back to going on to betting on yourself and just leaving it all out there. I heard a lot of people that were like, I'm not going to that tryout. Like, I should be invited. I should just automatically be asked, or like, I can't do it. Like, I heard so many people that were considering as well, just that didn't have that belief in themselves, or didn't think or thought they were too good for a tryout. But, from the get-go, I was like, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to leave it all out there. I'm going to play every position possible. I was playing first base. I've never played first base in my life. But just doing anything I can to prove to them that I am worthy of being a pro softball player, and no matter what my background is.
That's the other part. Some people are afraid to write it down or say it out loud because it makes it real.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's almost this level of accountability that you have, not just with yourself, but anyone else that saw you write it down, heard you say it.
Right.
So there is that follow through aspect too.
For sure.
Yeah. And you said it, you played a bunch of different positions, because I know you pitched in high school.
Yeah, I was recruited as a pitcher to go to UIC. Got there, and the current shortstop was actually hurt with an injury. And so I was pitching, I was hitting, I was filling in there. And they were like, okay, we need you to play shortstop for the whole year. Like, we have 8 pitchers. We're going to pull you out of that if you're okay with that. And your body can only handle so much with the 20-hour allotment that we're given a week. I can't become great at one thing when I have to do four things across those 20 hours. And my body was starting to shut down. It was hurting, like pitching was taking a lot out of me. So we made the decision to become a full time infielder. And then once I got to pro, I became an outfielder.
That's great insight, though. I pitched practice at all infield positions, even some outfield my freshman year, and it was a lot. It
Mm-hmm.
was a lot. So to have the insight and the foresight to sort of know, okay, let's focus, let's set you up and also your team up for success. I think that's important for young ones to hear as well.
Right. Yeah. Anywhere that was going to allow the team to succeed and do the best outcome to win. I was willing to play anywhere, whether they wanted me to learn how to catch or become a DP, whatever it may have been. I was willing to do whatever it took.
Being an athlete like that does give you more opportunities as well. But there has to be a level of unselfishness, like you said, whatever the team needed. That's a mentality. What do you think kind of gave you that mentality in your life?
Just growing up with the people I had around me, my teammates, my family, my sister, my parents, they showed me and paved the path that like do whatever it takes to be a good teammate, to be a good leader, to be anything, just to win or just to be a good friend in life. It's in all aspects that I had those people leading the way and showing me what the right thing to do was. So I give it all to them because they're the reason I am who I am. And I was able to do what I did because of them.
And I know you've described a pro season that you've played before in a few different words: grit, grace, gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like these folks that you just mentioned obviously contributed to that as well. But why does that sum it up so well for you?
That particular season, I actually had my first true injury in 20 years. 30 minutes into our first practice, I dove in center field and my wrist got caught under my glove and snapped some ligaments. Um, so, in that moment, I had again a decision to make whether I was going to, I could just go home because I got hurt. I could just sit there and pout and just be sad that I wasn't playing, but I had a decision to make. I was going to recover and do what I could, which was pinch running because I was allowed to run and be the best teammate I could possibly be. First one out of the dugout, first one getting high fives, first one grabbing the bat. So that one, it was a huge learning experience again because it was my first true injury outside of like minor strains and stuff that you just push through. And it was a year of growth and grit and grace and gratitude because I saw softball from a whole nother perspective being on the sidelines most of the year.
Mm. What do you think helped you stay focused on what mattered the most, more so than the noise and some of the frustrations?
The little girls sitting in the stands wanting to be us, seeing, oh, that she's cheering on her teammates every opportunity she gets. She's out there the first. I want to be seen as the first one giving high fives and cheering my teammates on and embracing the role because I think that's a problem with younger generations growing up. They get so caught up in like, oh, I'm sitting, like I'm just gonna pout and I'm gonna sit in my sorrows when no, what are you gonna do to get better? Or what are you gonna do to get in the starting lineup? And what are you gonna do in that role that you have right now?
We're taught, and we naturally have a lot of times if we chose this sport and this path to take, competitiveness, right? And so you do want to be the one who's called
Mm-hmm.
upon for your team. But then you also want to understand what your role is and do what the team needs. That's such a balance that's not the easiest thing to strike because you do need to have that competitiveness at all
Yeah.
times, but you also need to have that sort of big picture because it is a team sport.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you've done is not very easy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely challenging at times because you don't want to settle for what you're sitting. You want to, of course, be the starter, be in the role that you want to be in, but doing, embracing the role, learning from the person in front of you, doing whatever you can and using your resources around you, like will eventually get you there. So if you are competitive and respectful in the sense of the game, will get you where you want it to get you. Um, Things will fall into place.
Yeah. You were the one in a lot of ways at UIC, right? But that college experience we talk about a lot is really that foundation that you set for your life. How do you feel like it set you up for your pro experience and even now, like in the real world in general after graduation?
Yeah. I think in that meeting my freshman year, saying yes to the opportunity to be the shortstop for the team for the 5 years, um, put me in the best mindset I could be in for the rest of my career. I think had I been uneasy about it or been like, I don't think this is right, I think it would have held me back. And I think that goes for anything going into a full time job, like in the normal life, I guess I will call it, outside of softball. Um, just saying yes to any opportunity that will help me grow, even if I'm uncomfortable. Kind of being a yes woman, just to show that I'm willing to put myself out there and learn about something that I might be uncomfortable about.
Hmm. My coach at college used to always say, be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Same. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At the time, I kind of hated it. It's grown on me since
Yeah.
then.
Yeah. We, coming in 2 weeks before my freshman year, we had the coaching switch. And she kept saying that to people because it was new for everyone, her system. And she would say, be comfortable being uncomfortable all the time and embrace the change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They clearly saw something in you, though, to know that you could handle that kind of thing. Like going from the bullpen to not just the infield or being a position player, but one of the anchors right over at shortstop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was just an underlying confidence that I've had since growing up. Again, having my parents always believing in me, my sister always believing in me, and having that support system around me, I think led me to always having an underlying confidence that might not show immediately, but once I start performing and working towards something, it comes out in just the way that I carry myself on the field in a humble way, but still like, I'm going to do this.
And you mentioned as well just representing sort of for the mid majors too, once you got to the pro level through your experience. Why is that important to you? And do you think there's some of that experience that actually made you even better than had you gone to a power conference program?
Yeah, I think it's super important. I think growing up, a lot of kids are seeing now like the Power Fours and like because they typically get more broadcasted than us mid majors do, but I think they're seeing that that sometimes is the only option when in reality there's millions of options out there, whether it's D1, D2, D3, Power Four, mid major. And I think it needs to be more promoted that you go where you want to go and where you're happy and where you have the education you want, because I think a lot of people are not prioritizing that. And again, retirement's going to come at some point or another. And if you're not prepared for the real world after, it could have been prevented if you chose to prioritize your education first, which is something that was really important to me when going to UIC because I studied kinesiology and they had a top 10 program when I entered, which was a huge factor for me. And then I still had a top program in the softball world. So it was a 2-for-1. And I think that's overlooked a lot because, again, and I get it. Like, you want to be at the Power Four, you want to be on TV, and I get it. But real world comes eventually. And I think it's overlooked a lot. And then what was your second part of that question?
Just is there something in that mid major experience that you almost feel like might have made you better
Yeah,
because you did it? Yeah.
I think it gives you a different way of carrying yourself, that underdog mentality, like overlooked. It's motivating. It keeps you humble because people are going to be like, she's not good enough. She went to UIC in the Horizon League. And it only fuels you more and builds your confidence more if you look at it the right way. Like, yeah, you could look at it like, oh, they don't believe in me, I'm out. But I took it as, oh, they don't believe in me, I'm going to prove them wrong and put UIC on the map.
And you saw a lot of success there
Yeah.
for the program. What do you think as a program and as a team all through your 4 years really made the difference for you and for the results at the end of the day?
I think during my time at UIC, we just had the most amazing group of girls that all believed in each other. there was hardly any negativity or drama. And when it was, we bit it in the butt and got rid of it immediately. There's no big egos in the way and stuff. So having everyone on board with the same mentality and drive and passion for what we're trying to do is go to the World Series and win it. Everyone was on board, and it showed through those 5 years that we won 3 championships, one being COVID, and then one we didn't end up winning, but it showed in the outcome, and everyone was on board. We read The Energy Bus as a team too, so I think that's a great book that got us all together.
And that is some credit to the recruiting as well, that all of those girls, yourself included, were brought together and really worked well together like that. You talked a little bit about your recruiting journey, and of course you're a local, you're from Illinois as well. What all went into that path? That's obviously what everyone wants to hear about that's high school age and wants to play college softball.
Yeah, so I played for the Illinois Chill growing up, which is a really great top program in the state, and I don't remember a lot. I'm not gonna lie, like a lot of it is just so far away that I don't remember a lot of the process. I went to a ton of camps locally and far away, just depending on where I was at the time, but got my name out there, went to schools to figure out what I liked, what I didn't like. Like there was moments I stepped onto one campus and I was like, no way, like this is not for me. I don't feel it. And then I stepped onto other campuses like UIC where I was like, I love it here. Like this is where I'm meant to be. So going to a ton of camps and just trusting the process. There's moments where you're like, am I getting anywhere with these emails? Am I getting any attention? Because it's a slow process, even though you want it to be like done in a blink of an eye. It's a slow, I remember UIC kept coming and kept coming. I'm like, when are they going to bite? When are they going to bite? And then they finally did. But I was like, is it going to happen? I feel like this is an eternity later. And it was probably like 3 weeks.
Longest 3 weeks of your life.
Yes, yeah. Literally. But just trusting the process, not forcing anything, allowing that time to happen. I know that the deadlines have changed since I've been in that part of my life, but not just jumping the gun right away, like making sure everything is the right fit. I know September 1st is a big date that you're allowed to talk, and not just making the decision on September 2nd, like allowing yourself to see the school, know what you want to study, even if you don't know what you want to study, knowing that they have something that you might be interested in, even if you go in undecided. So if there's questions about whether or not you should go somewhere, it might not be for you, or try to figure out those answers before biting the bullet.
Right. Thinking it through, which you're right, with the time, the pressure that you feel in those moments, it's, again, easier said than done, but it does make a big difference down the road.
Yep, especially with the social media pressure and seeing my friend committed, this girl committed, this position just committed to the school that I was interested in. That doesn't mean they're going to play that position or that you both are going to be there at the same time. Like it's all these factors that have to be looked at. Because if I would have looked at it like, oh, there's 8 other pitchers at UIC and didn't go there,
right?
Whole different storyline.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And being someone who's local, did that play a factor? And was there a little extra pride in playing for this program?
Yeah, during the recruiting process, I didn't have a preference if I was close or far. Where I was, looking back at it now, I'm so glad it was close because my family could go to everything. And even though they still made cross-country trips all the time. But it's a chip you carry on your shoulder for sure, that you're representing your hometown, that you're representing your travel ball team that's right down the street. And it is a sense of pride that like hometown girl did this for everyone and now is representing them on a national level. So it felt great doing that.
And representing softball in the Midwest. It seems to be a growing region in terms of just talent coming out of it. How would you kind of describe Midwest softball and where it's going?
Yeah, I think since even during my recruiting time, it's been overlooked for far too long. I'm glad I'm starting to see, like watching the World Series on TV, that there's multiple Illinois girls on Texas. There's Illinois girls on Oregon. Like it's all over. And not even just Illinois, but those ones stick out to me because of course my home. But it's just Midwest in general. I think it's been overlooked too long. And I'm glad to start seeing them pop up on the national level and just all around, because we're both different here with the weather. And I think we have a little more, what's the word? A little more just grit behind us. Like, we're built for the winter. We can handle anything. We are practicing inside 90% of the time probably, and we can handle anything. So I think it's about time we get some notice.
Well, and I see that as a theme with you too in your journey, which is kind of no excuses, but also you're just going to go for it. Whatever the situation is, all right, well, I'm going to do what I can in this situation. I'm going to work
Mhm.
my butt off. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to leave no stone unturned because I'm pursuing what I want to do.
Mhm.
And I can see that a little bit in the Midwest, like you're saying, like, oh, we're practicing inside. So what? Like, we're
Mhm.
going to get our reps in, we're going to train, and we're going to be the best that we can be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. As a California girl, I very much respect it.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
We had tons of California girls at UIC, and they saw the tarp the first time, and they were like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, you're gonna find out real quick what that is."
Real quick. So I will say Northern California, because Stanford's in Northern California, we did have to tarp plenty. So
Yes.
we were on the tarp team. We called it tarp committee,
Uh-huh.
but the snow and having to be on the road for the beginning portion, like almost like the first couple months of a
Yeah.
season, all of those things, like that is real
Mhm.
grit there for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And now that you obviously transitioned from that experience in college to the pro scene, what do you think you learned the most from going to that next level?
Um, I would say just keep the being tested on keeping the same mindset. When you go from being one of the best on your college team, in the same sense that you're the best on your travel team, to the college team, everyone's the best. And you go from college to the pro level, everyone's still the best. And just not holding back on what you're capable of, and allowing yourself to learn from those around you and the vets that played above you and that are playing next to you. Because there are times when you're like, oh my God, they're all like, again, with the Power Four thing, they're all Americans, and I'm just a mid-major girl over here. Like, not letting that impact how you approach it and how hard you work, because it's scary at times. Like, you walk in, you're like, oh my God, there is Florida, there is Texas, and I am just over here from tryouts. So it was hard. Like, you have to prove yourself, but you just have to go in there saying, what do I have to lose? Because I'm here, I made it, I'm proving this to everyone that this is capable, and I'm not going to have regrets leaving here. So just going in there, balls to the walls, and leaving it all out in the field, no matter where you came from and who you are. That's the biggest thing for me during the last 5 years.
It's like removing the ego aspect,
Mm-hmm.
but still really nurturing your confidence at the
Yep.
same time. That's a tricky balance to
Mm-hmm.
strike. How did you do that?
For sure. And it comes in waves and it goes, because softball in general is just a challenging sport. I mean, you fail majority of the time, as we all know. So you're dealing with that on top of that, and having to conquer both at the same time. So I think it's really a testament to how strong you can be as a person beyond softball, because this is all helping you grow for the real world.
Oh, yeah, the real world doesn't really care
Nope.
about what happened before, that's for sure.
Nope. And it doesn't stop, and it's just going to move on without you if you're ready or not.
And that can be, you can allow that to be a good thing or a bad thing, right? Like you
Mm-hmm.
can let that freak you out, like, well, I worked so hard and that doesn't mean anything now. Oh my gosh. Or you can let it be like, okay, I get to start fresh here. I have a good foundation. Like, let's see how I carve my path out from here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What made it feel like now was the right time to hang up the cleats?
I had debated during last summer, like, should this be my last? And then I had gotten hurt. So I was like, this is absolutely not my last. And I have always said to myself, my career is going to end on my terms. I wasn't going to let someone decide that for me, especially when the Pride ended up not continuing on. That was something I was worried about after playing with them for 2 years, and they let us know at the last minute that the team was not happening. From then on, I was like, this is my career. I am deciding when I am done. And luckily, this was the perfect time for me. I just felt it was one, a great number to end on. 5. I'm weird about numbers. So like 5 and 20 were great numbers to just end on. I'm at a place where I'm settling down at home, have a dog at home, hoping to be married soon, and just moving on with life, and leaving softball behind and working with it in a different aspect. So it just felt like a great time in my life outside of softball that it was time. And I would like to see progress continue to happen as it is. It's been great to see the growth of softball and the numbers that are insane, and it's amazing. And I hope to see that continue to grow. And I would love to play softball forever. I can physically keep going, but just at the stage it's at right now, I no longer can keep doing that with 3 other jobs and working camps and other jobs. It's a hard lifestyle. So it's time to just move on from that and settle down finally. But hopefully for my children one day, they can play full time just like the MLB players can.
Well, and because you played for the 5 years that you did, that is helping that become more of a reality, hopefully, in future.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you'd like to pursue post-playing career?
I'm kind of open to a lot. I don't, as a softball player, and it's hard to get experience with playing as much as we do and being like, hey, can I leave for 3 months? A lot of jobs don't allow that. And the ones that do, thank you for those people because it's hard for us. So anyone that's going to give me an opportunity, I'm really passionate about marketing and sports and healthcare. So trying to merge any of those realms that'll allow me to start my career. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm not being too picky just because I want to get my foot in the door somewhere, but also getting into something that I'm passionate about so that I'm not just doing something to do something.
That makes a lot of sense too. You said you wanted to study kinesiology, and then I know you got your master's in marketing, and obviously a pro athlete as well. So all of those sectors combined, that's your wheelhouse.
Yep. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm taking a little time off right now just to relax and give my body a break. The first day we got home, it just hit me like a wall, the exhaustion, because you're just going and going and you don't realize how tired you are. And I think I slept for like 15 hours. But once that time of rest is over, I'm really going to hit it hard and get started somewhere new.
What are the biggest things you learned from softball that I'm going to apply this in my life moving forward, in my career moving forward?
Yeah, I'm very passionate about my time management and getting stuff done on time and being places on time. That's one of my biggest pet peeves, that like friends or family that did not play sports, when they're like, oh, we're starting at 6, I'm gonna be there at 5:45 and they're showing up at 6:30 and I'm like anxious for them. I'm like, you're late. Like,
Yeah.
like be rolling around like this, and it's literally just like a barbecue at someone's house. Like, no need to be on time, but I'm like, no, we're getting there early. So time management and just my work ethic in general. Like, even if I don't know how to do something, I'm gonna work 10 times harder at it to do something better than someone that might be experienced in it.
Yeah, it's so true. I for a while after I was done playing, I remember at 2:00 every weekday, I would kind of be like, oh, I'm supposed to be somewhere. What am I supposed to do? Because practice was at 2:30.
Yep.
And you get like that anxiety, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I don't have that anymore. Okay, let me readjust to the regular world.
Shoot up on the bed, it's 8 a.m. and you're like, I missed weight. Like, nope, that was 5 years ago.
I still have dreams about like, oh, I'm running late to weights, or which never happened, by the way, in college, just for the record. But I still have the anxiety for it.
Still in the back, because you see other people do it and you're like, this is never happening to me.
Right.
Yep. It'll be with us forever.
It's true. And you're right. It is different. Like when you get in the working world, of course, there are other former athletes and things too, but it's interesting seeing the different perspectives because ours is such a specific one. then you learn how to work with those different perspectives, which is a good learning experience in itself. But I constantly hear from people and from my own experience that it's such a good foundation. And that's why so many of the female CEOs in the business world played sports in their lives, right? It makes sense.
For sure. Hope maybe we'll be one day.
There you go. Let's go. Speak it into existence.
I'm going to write it on my wish board over there.
Yeah. Yes, do it. It works. So let's do it. Well, obviously you have so much still in front of you. This is in a lot of ways not the end, the beginning of a lot of new things. But looking back at your playing career, what do you hope the legacy is that you left?
Be the underdog, embrace being the underdog. And again, betting on yourself. Just take whatever you're handed and run with it. Even if you're uncomfortable, walk the walk, act like you know what you're doing, even when you don't, because that will instill so much confidence in you and just build you into a great athlete, a great human, a great teammate, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it may be in life. It'll carry you the rest of the way.
Very well said. And the way that you've come so far, whether it's, your high school days to UIC to Athletes Unlimited to one of the longest standing pro softball teams in existence, USSSA Pride, to ending with the New York Rise and starting something new. You've had such a unique experience of things that you got to help build. So just want to say congratulations on that career.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's been fun. I'm excited to watch it from the stands and help the game continue to grow in a different way now.
Yeah, absolutely. It never leaves us. I'll tell you that. That's for sure.
Yep. We already are planning trips to the World Series, hopefully to the Olympics.
Oh, let's go.
Stuff I never was able to do before.
Exactly. It's going in the right direction.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, this has been awesome. And I do wrap up with a game that I play with everybody who comes on.
Perfect. I love games.
Yes. It's called Safer Out. So I'll bring up a topic. And if you like it or you agree with it, you call it safe. And if not, then you call it out.
Okay. Perfect.
Make sense? Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So the first one is having bright colored equipment, like a glove, batting gloves, cleats, etc. Safe or out?
Safe. My glove is bright teal for New York Rise. I would say safe to a certain extent. Like if it's like head to toe one color, like a little too much. But if it's like the nice accent pieces, like your elbow guard, your leg guard, the custom catcher's gear, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I can totally get behind that. I feel like you've had cool bat grips.
Yes.
Also.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun.
Yes, I love a little pot. It's a little piece of like personality on there because you just get the standard ones and they're boring, and I like to put a little pop of personality on there.
Yeah, make it personal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. I knew you had a teal glove, by the way, so I planted that one.
What if I said no?
I'd been like, oh, wow, then I have to pivot, right? We make adjustments. That's what we do here. So that was the first one. Second one is transfer portal. Safe or out?
Oof, that's tough. I'll start with I get why I'm appreciative that we have it, because there's certain situations that are just, it's so needed. But I think it's being used as a cop-out for some people that, again, aren't maybe working as hard as they should be to get that starting position. They're just like, I'm not playing, I'm going to leave. So safe in the sense, for my first reason, out in the sense if we're just going to use it as an excuse.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah. And a lot of people feel that way too. When I've asked them that question, because there's two sides to everything, right? Mm-hmm. So it's trying to, like anything else, trying to find that balance. Yeah. All right. That was the second one. Last one is bat flips.
Oof.
Safe or out?
I'm kind of, again, depends on the situation. If it's like walk off, yes, I'm all for it. If this is a home run in the first inning, no, I'm out on that. So if it's like a true walk off, like you just won the World Series, throw that thing as far as you want. I don't care. But if this is like a regular schmegular home run, act like you've been there before.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really, I'm in between again. So safe one way, out the other way.
Video review. right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. No, I get what you mean though. Like the authentic energy, emotions in the moment. It matters, or it changes it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was the game. You crushed it. I know I put you on the spot a little bit, and you know, but you're used to the pressure.
Absolutely.
But thank you again for doing this, Kayla. This was awesome. I knew it would be. And again, just congratulations on an amazing playing career, but also really looking forward to everything that you do from here on out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, and appreciate you reaching out, and looking forward to everything you accomplish with this podcast and in life.
Kayla has such a great perspective. It's inspiring to see somebody who knows how to shoot their shot, who just goes for it, whatever it is. But she's also still pretty grounded. So it's like she has her head in the sky, but her feet on the ground, which is not easy to do. It's just not easy to balance that gratitude and that ambition, but it's really cool to learn about how she's done that. Her playing days could be over right now, but we're excited to see how she continues just being her in everything that she does. So with that, let's bring it home. You've been listening to Bleav in Softball, part of Bleav Network, presented by FanDuel. The show is available anywhere you get your podcasts, wherever you listen, including Bleav.com and YouTube too. Subscribe to the show, rate the show, and if you liked it, write a review. Follow us on X and Instagram at Bleav in Softball. Again, that's BLEAV. You can reach out to me personally on X at Jenna Becerra01 and Instagram at Jenna Becerra as well. As always, thank you for tuning in, and catch you soon.